morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, January 18th. You know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Jeremy Pierce. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter, Patreon. At some point this year, I will be giving us a website, and TikTok is probably going to be banned tomorrow. I do have a TikTok, but we'll see what happens there. But today's show, TNA Genesis, is going down tomorrow. It is back with the first show since, I think, 2021. But we're going to have a good time today. Check out that show, preview it, matches, predictions, all of that good stuff. But for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. All right, Genesis. Now, it's going down in January, and we haven't had one in a while because I assume there was one in 2024 because, as you know, Genesis means beginning, and this would be their annual pay-per-view in the beginning of the year. But I digress. We got a good show, and first of all, Genesis will be going down. Where is it going? Where is it happening? Genesis will be taking place at the Curtis Caldwell Center in Dallas, Texas. This is one of the few times that TNA is airing a pay-per-view on Sunday. But on Countdown, it's being hosted by Busted Open Radio starting at 7 o'clock. And the crew will be there with their insights and predictions and their unique perspectives on all things Genesis. And we got one match on the pre-show. But there's something else that was just added to Genesis, and that is NXT. If you haven't heard, which we will be discussing just a little bit the news on tomorrow's show, on the recap. Later, B and TNA have made a partnership for the next couple of years with cross promotions and other things. We'll see how that goes down. So NXT will be apparently a part of Genesis, maybe another match on the pre-show. But we currently have one match on the pre-show scheduled, and that will be Frankie Kazarian versus Leon Slater. And here's the thing you need to know. Kaz has the Call Your Shot trophy, which means he is guaranteed to get a championship match whenever he wants. And recently on Impact, Kazarian, he approached Leon Slater about, an opportunity to essentially become his lackey, with Slater denied and wanted nothing to do with the self-proclaimed king of TNA. So they are set for a match at Genesis. Kaz is the veteran. Leon Slater is young. This is going to be a good match. And you see this thing in the WWE, follow me here, that when someone has the Money in the Bank briefcase, they just lose matches because they'll just cash in and become an automatic winner. And I think that's what we have here. That's what we're doing here. So I'm going to take Kaz to lose here with the rookie, the upstart of Leon Slater, to win the match. But as we move over to the main card, we got a bunch of good matches scheduled. Man, this is going to be a solid show. So we start off with the System versus Eric Young and Steve Maclin. The System will be accompanied by Alicia Edwards, so it'll be Eddie and Brian Myers taking on Eric Young and Steve Maclin. And after they had a 6-man tag match on Impact, right? And the System, they're looking to reassert their dominance, and they delivered a violent post-match assault on Jonathan Gresham, who was teaming with Eric Young and Steve Maclin. So even though I don't like the start-stop push of what Maclin was doing with the octopus gimmick, and that's over with, kind of did a face turns working with Maclin and Young. So they are going to avenge their fallen ally, and they go back. Maclin, Young, Gresham, they all go back. So this is about getting revenge on the System, and the System, former tag team champions, are looking to again reassert the dominance. So this is really a toss up here. So it's, do you reassert the dominance of the System, or do you have Eric Young and Steve Maclin go over, and then what? You know what I mean? It's always not about the win, it's about the follow-up, because I don't really see them challenging for the tag team championships at the moment. And TNA does not have a trio championship, and since they're now partnered with the WWE, they can't go over to Ring of Honor, they can't go over to AEW, they can't go over to New Japan, and I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. So I'm going to go with the system and their dominance being reasserted. Take Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers to win this match. Next up, we have the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship as the team of Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Dani Luna will be defending against the Elegance. That's not their official name, but their names are Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance. And I'm just going to call them the Elegance. And Ash and Heather for months and months and months have been just poking and prodding and being thorns in the sides of Spitfire. And Ash has gotten a W on Jody. She's gotten a W on Dani. And Heather has taken an L here and there, but we are building up the Knockouts Tag Team division again. And see, here's the thing. I think this match, the winner of this is a foregone conclusion. Spitfire won the tag team titles, I believe, twice last year, and they have been fine fighting champions. But it's always about the chase instead of the defense, and I think you just have to put the championship on the Elegance. You've built up Ash, you've built up Heather, and what's to come of it. And I think there has to be the Knockouts Tag Team titles. They've got to win here and have at least a decent enough reign. And I think the era of Elegance will be upon us. Spitfire can always stitch championships again, but they've kind of got to do the job here. And you've built up Ash, you've built up Heather, and you just got to give it to them. Another match that I believe is a foregone conclusion is the X Division Championship, as Moose will be defending against Ace Austin. Ever since Moose dethroned Mike Bailey, he has honestly been disrespecting the history, the rich history of the X Division. Y'all gotta remember, TNA was built on the back of the X Division, and then it was built on the back of the Knockout Division, right? So those are the two things that have carried TNA for the longest of time. With Moose disrespecting the X Division, something has got to change, and other people have stepped in and they've fallen to Moose. Now Moose interrupted Ace Austin, right? Ace wanted to stake his claim for the TNA World Championship. That's one thing I love about TNA. Anybody can be a challenger. Anybody can do the chase. So Moose interrupted him and was like, bro, I'm the X Division champion. I'm Moose. I'm a former world champion. Any championship I hold is the championship. And Ace was like, bro, I understand it, but I need to go for something greater. And then Moose put Chris Bay's name in his mouth, and he shouldn't have done it. As I know, Chris Bay's out with a major injury, and Ace is like, yo, keep my man's name out of your mouth. And here we are. Moose has also said that he will be revealing a new X Division championship, probably even renaming the division, kind of like when Kevin Nash was in charge. But I think Moose has to win here just to get over that title. And Ace is already a former 3-time X Division champion, and I think ultimately he will dethrone Moose, but not on this night. So take Moose to win here, but this is going to be a really good match. This actually will be one of the matches of the night, so pay close attention. Next up, we have the I Quit match with Josh Alexander taking on Mike Santana, and these two have one goal, one simple common goal. This is the only thing that they share. They both want to be world champion in the face of TNA. So at Final Resolution of last year, they were involved in a fatal 4-way number one contenders match that saw Alexander zip tie Santana to a barricade, depriving him of the opportunity, right? A few weeks later, Santana attempted to run through each member of the Northern Army in a gauntlet, but after taking out Judas Iscariot and Travis Williams, Alexander orchestrated a 3-on-1 assault on Santana, bringing that gauntlet to an end. So now Santana will have a chance to get his hands on Josh Alexander. Remember, these two have a storied history with LAX versus the North and their tag team feud, so they know each other really, really well. So there's a couple layers here. One is Santana left AEW because he wanted to be a single star, so we're doing that with him in TNA. But also there's this prevailing thought that Alexander might be leaving TNA, going where? Who knows? WWE, NXT, AEW. So with these two having their heated face-off exchange on Impact, the match went from a one-on-one match to an I Quit match. And with that thought of, Alexander might be leaving TNA, this I Quit match stipulation, it makes sense. And we've seen that Santana can really get down and dirty. Same thing with Alexander, but I think with us elevating Mike Santana, he's got to get the W here. So take Mike Santana to defeat Josh Alexander in the I Quit match. The TNA World Tag Team Championship with the Hardy Boys, the Hardys defending against the Rascalz. And this also goes back to 2024 when the Hardys made their return to TNA Wrestling and they captured the Tag Team Championships in a Full Metal Mayhem match at Bound for Glory. They then defended the championships against the System, this time in a tables match. So Matt and Jeff are back in TNA and once again at the top of the mountain when it comes to the tag team wrestling. Meanwhile, the Rascalz had a little bit of a setback. They ultimately, were preoccupied with Wesley over in NXT, trying to get him back on track. It did not work, and Zach Wentz had a fantastic match against Wes, even though I think Trey Miguel is the best wrestler out of the Rascalz, but they have decided to refocus on the tag team ranks, and this will be the toughest test for the Hardys, period. Zach Wentz, Trey Miguel are just good, and this is going to be a dream match for a lot of people. The challenge was set down, was laid forth, and the Hardys accepted. So what will happen? Well, this is probably the one match where I think it's a toss-up. I really can't decide who's going to win. You have the veterans who have held the belt since Bound for Glory of last year. That was October. But you've got the Rascalz revitalized, reinvigorated. And it's been a minute since they have held gold. So ultimately it comes down to where's the better story? What lies ahead for these two teams? Can the Rascalz win and then, stay on the top of the mountain, or can the Hardys solidify their place? So this is really a hard match to pick and choose from. I'm going to go out on a limb here and pick the Rascalz. I think we can get a little bit more mileage out of them, and the Hardys don't really need to hold gold. So take Zach and Trey to ultimately walk away as your new champions. Next up, we have the TNA Knockouts World Championship match, as Masha Slamovich will be defending against none other than Rosemary. And with the suggestion of the legend that is Raven, this will be a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match. And where you're asking yourself, well, what is a Clockwork Orange House of Fun match? No DQs, no countouts, and weapons. So standard street fight, false counting, whatever. It's just another name for that type of match. So these two are at the top of the game, and it's crazy to think it's been a minute since Rosemary has held championship gold. And here's the thing. Rosemary has been pretty much outside of Jordan and Masha. She's kind of been the most featured knockout all of last year. She was the one that focused a lot on the NXT crossover, teaming up with Wendy Chu. And now she here is challenging Masha. Masha won the belt from Jordynne Grace last year. So do you take it off of her, right? And there was a great Knockouts 8 women, tag main event where Rosemary sprayed the Mrs. Slamovich's face. And now they're crossing paths once again. Rosemary got the help, the suggestion of the extreme legend that is Raven. And if this was any other woman holding this belt, I would take Rosemary. But Masha has shown that she can compete in these kind of matches, and not only compete in them, but thrive in them. And therein lies the rub. Rosemary does not have the advantage here. She can get some tricks in, but she does not have the advantage here, and I don't think they're taking the championship off of Masha this early. So take Masha Slamovich to retain your Knockouts championship. Then we have this grudge match, Jordynne Grace versus Tessa Blanchard. And outside of, I think there was one other match where I said the outcome was pretty much never in doubt. Like, I think it was Santana and Josh Alexander. The outcome here is not in doubt at all. Tessa Blanchard is winning this match. She has made her return to TNA, the former Knockouts champion, the former world champion, made her return to TNA and delivered an assault on Jordynne Grace. And Blanchard vowed to remind the locker room just who she is. And Jordynne Grace, the Juggernaut, wants to remind Tessa who she is. And these two end up in a violent brawl, not only after that Knockouts 8 women main event, but on another episode. So, Director of Authority Santana made this match. And look, the ending is not in doubt. It's going to be an amazing match. This might even be your match of the night, but Tessa Blanchard is winning here. She needs to be re-solidified as the top of the division. She is a former world champion, ladies and gentlemen. And I think all of us are very much expecting Jordynne Grace to leave TNA and make her way over to the WWE. I'm very much expecting Jordynne Grace to be in the Royal Rumble. This is going to be an excellent match. This is going to be an excellent, excellent match. But Jordynne Grace is doing the job here as she is leaving and Tessa Blanchard is coming back in. Put your money on Tessa. 1, 2, 3. This is over. And lastly, our main event, probable main event, TNA World Championship. Nick Nemeth will be defending his championship against Joe Hendry. The global viral sensation Joe Hendry is over. He is super, super, super over. He defeated Josh Alexander, Mike Santana, and Steve Maclin in the number one contenders match recently. And Nemeth defeated AJ Francis of First Class with his making another successful title defense. Nick Nemeth has been an excellent, excellent champion. He has even re-signed with the company. So here is the question, and it's the question. You know what I'm going to ask. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? It's very much that simple. At some point, you have to put the championship on Joe Hendry. But here's the thing. Nick has been getting help, whether wanted or unwanted, from John Bradshaw Layfield. He will play a factor here in this match. So, how does it end? You can't keep delaying the fans the moment, right? I also expect Joe Hendry to be in the Royal Rumble. I think that's a guarantee. Question is, does he enter the Rumble as the TNA World Champion? That's tough. Because you can't have the champion in the match kind of be tossed out, or they gotta look very good. I mean, it happened to Jordynne Grace. She went into the her and Mickie James both went into the Royal Rumble as Knockouts champion. They looked dominant. So Joe Hendry will be in the Royal Rumble. He has to look dominant. So ultimately, do you believe? Yes, I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe Joe Hendry is walking out of TNA Genesis as your new champion. Where JBL fits in this, I don't know, but something's got to give at this point. So take Joe Hendry to become your new TNA World Champion. One more time, let's go over the matches, and I'll give you my predictions. Countdown to Genesis, I think Leon Slater defeats Frankie Kazarian. I believe the System defeats Eric Young and Steve Maclin. Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance defeat Spitfire to become the new Knockouts World Tag Team Champions. Moose defeats Ace Austin to retain the X Division Championship. Mike Santana to defeat Josh Alexander in the I Quit match. The Rascalz defeat the Hardys to become the new TNA World Tag Team Champions. Masha Slamovich to defeat Rosemary in the Clockwork Orange House of Fun match to retain the Knockouts World Championship. Tessa Blanchard to defeat Jordan Grace, and Joe Hendry to defeat Nick Nemeth to become your new TNA World Champion. But let me know what you guys think. Am I going to get it right? Am I going to get it wrong? What are your predictions? Who do you think is going to win? Look on the screen what we got coming up. We are moving forward, building towards the Royal Rumble. We're going to have some fun in these next couple of weeks. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Anna J, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Gigi Dolan, Aladon, and Bailey. Holla at your boy. Peace.